so go ahead. Let's talk about those three different funding sources for small businesses.
Okay. Well, first of all, if you're not using a community bank, it's something that you might want to consider. There's the big banks. They're a great place to park money, but they give you very little other benefits. In a community bank, they actually want your deposits. They pay you a little more in interest, and they want your relationship as a business owner. They want your loans when you have a loan need, and there's various different types of loans that community banks can give to you as a small business owner. And they, as I mentioned, they do pay more for the deposit. So, and when you compare a community bank to Chase or Wells or any of the big banks, yes, they're going to pay you a little more on the deposits. They're going to charge you a little more on the loans as well. And that's kind of the nature of the beast. But in a community bank, they want your relationship, and they do want to lend you money. And why do people go to community banks? It's to get funding that the big banks really don't want to do. Big banks like to do $100 billion loans. I mean, the big loans, it's easy for them, the big balance loans. Whereas community banks are happy. A typical community bank would be tickled with a loan $500,000 to $5 million. A little larger community bank may go up to $20 million. So these are loans, as you mentioned, that are building small business, which is the backbone of America, small businesses. And so community bank is a good way to get capital through various loans like SBA loans. You've probably heard about SBA loans already. They have a need in the community, but there's several other loans, just portfolio loans. Banks lend money and they keep them in their portfolio for your business, for your real estate. They offer all kinds of cash management services that you can also take advantage of. Most everything you can do right from your desk, from your computer. As a chairman of a bank, as a customer of the bank, the only time I go to the bank is to pick up cashier's checks, because everything else, all your wires are all online, and they really have the same things that you would get. I know you're thinking, well, wait a minute, I'm at Chase, and I like their software, and community banks have the same thing. There are huge companies like Fiserv and Jack Henry that have the same type of operating systems and programs available for their customers to use as Chase or Wells Fargo. So, and they've made a business out of that.
And so the community banks will license that so they can offer the same features.
Correct, yes.
Gotcha.
So you can do your deposit by taking a picture just like you can at Chase. In your business, they can give you a remote capture machine. You can just run all your checks through there and make your deposits. Like I say, unless you're in a large cash business, there's really no reason to go to the bank other than cashier's checks. And even in a large cash business, they can arrange for a company to come pick up that cash for you, so you don't have to drive across town. And what you'll find in a community bank, there's not one on every corner. Most community banks, many community banks may just have one branch.
Mm-hmm.
And they really, branching isn't needed in the community banking world like it is on a larger bank like Chase. They want one on every corner. Because of this technology that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. You don't need to go to the bank, so they don't need to invest in the brick and mortar. There's other things like technology that is a better investment for a community bank. So,
and as far as like the funding options that community banks provide small businesses, it's really they have a greater appetite for smaller loans,
yes.
right? And probably more flexibility because they want that relationship. And as
Right.
long as you're going to give them your deposits and your banking relationship, they'll be more motivated to work with you and giving you the loan, right?
Absolutely. Community banks aren't as rigid on certain qualifying factors as some of the big banks. I mean, all banks look at FICO scores, but community banks would be more apt to make an exception and listen to the story. Even myself, at the beginning of the downturn, 2008, my FICO score was dropping. I had $1 million in Bank of America, and they wanted to talk to me about my $5,000 ready reserve or overdraft, credit line. And I said, "Are you kidding me? I got $1 million in your branch, and you want to talk to me about because my FICO score came down a little bit?" So I just moved all my bank. And I was only banking there because it was on the corner right by my office. And so we had most of our money at the community banks, but I had that account at Bank of America. And so I just wound up closing it out, and I never missed it.
Uh-huh.
That'd be